think we talk a lot about emotions, understanding our emotions, being vulnerable to share them with other men and having those conversations. Do you think maybe a brief before that conversation, kind of like a warning to another man, if we're all hanging out and I come and I say, hey guys, can I have permission to just share something with you guys? I need you. Will that kind of prep the environment and also prep the other person with, hey, I'm about to be vulnerable. Can we have permission to get into that space?
So, yes. So let me say yes, hold it here for a minute, and then circle back to it. I think part of the reason we have to ask permission to share our emotions, even though I agree with the idea, is because it's not part of our normal routine, which is why people look at us funny when we do share them. Like that, when someone sits down in the glass box of emotions, the guy's like, who are you? We've been hanging out for 6 months and none of this has come up. And then that guy almost feels, not disregarded, but maybe devalued. Like, you didn't trust me enough to share this with me a month ago, but now you dump all of this on me? Like, what else have you been hiding from me? It's like Mark Twain's quote, if you tell the truth, you never have to worry about what you say. So part of the reason that if you're dealing with somebody emotionally, you need to say it right off the bat, is because that's who you are. So the person you're hanging around with isn't shocked when you say, hey man, I just had a bad day, I gotta lay it out. Yeah. Like, the permission's okay, like setting the context, but generally you have to set the context for something like that when it's not normally part of your life. So I think sitting down with a group of guys and saying, hey listen, do I have your permission? Or hey, you mind if I go first for the next 10 minutes? I gotta just get something out there, and I'm not just putting it out there because I need to get it off my chest. I'm putting it out there because I need you to invest in me. I think that needs to happen to at least one guy every time you're out. If you're hanging out with 4 guys, you're gonna try to tell me all 4 guys, everything's working out, job's good, family's good, career's good. I mean, out of 4 guys, somebody's having a hard time. So I've only done this once. I haven't done it in a while. It was more of a test. I didn't tell my friends I was testing them. But I just said, hey, listen, I want to have an intentional conversation. We're only together for an hour and a half. It was, end of the day. And I said, who's ever in the most pain gets to talk first. And the first person went, that's me. Like, he self-identified. He knew what he was dealing with, whether he was right or wrong. But the moment I said, hey, whoever's hurting the most gets to go first. The guy's like, yeah, I need to. And I think leaders, men and women, but men specifically, they need to lead in this conversation. So if you're hanging out with 4 guys, don't wait for somebody to ask. Just say, hey, listen, I know things aren't perfect, so whoever hurts the most gets to go first. And that person will go, all right, I'll go. And then the response to that table, don't problem solve. Empathize, feel with that person, ask them how they're feeling. Lead in that regard on a more normal basis, and then you won't have to get to the place where you have to set the context. Because you're just gonna be like you. This is part of your life.